Hey, what's up, guys? I know I wasn't on last week for updates or my regular Saturday thing. I know I've been kind of off, and now I've missed a whole week. Um, but today, actually, is Friday, so we can go over updates. Quite a few, actually. And the very first update I'll go over is the reason why I didn't record last week. Um, so as I said before, my last pain management place booted everyone to the curve and they're gone. And so my primary doctor became basically in charge of my medications that they were giving me until I got a new one. And normally I love my general doctor. She's usually on top of things and is usually very helpful and supportive. But this time she really dropped the ball, and it was probably one of the things not to drop the ball on, and that was my medications. I had texted her a Friday before, like almost a week before the medication was due. I told her when it needs to be refilled, when I'm out. I called the day before, the day of, the day after, and it was just a disaster. First, all she prescribed or refilled was my tramadol, which is fine, but the the two nerve medications she didn't refill. I don't know why she didn't refill the pentatoxiflane, but it just wasn't shown as refilled. She refilled the Flexeril, which I always have, a few extra because it's one or two a day. But again, that's not the biggest deal. The biggest deal was the nerve medicine because right now, yes, my back is a lot of pain, but the nerves now are even more so. And so I basically had to constantly play phone tag with their offices saying, you need to refill it. And they're like, well, it says you picked it up on the 19th of the last month. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what happened with that. My old rheumatologist, suddenly a prescription that she used to give me came through. I don't know why. I archived it, so it shouldn't have happened. But CVS messes up a lot with stuff like that. So I don't know why it was filled. I didn't even know I had it until they reminded me of that, or where it even was. So it was still useless to me. And she's like trying to tell me she's not going to refill it because that should last me months. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It was 300 milligrams 3 times a day. I'm at 600 3 times a day. That will last me half a month. So there's some major lack of communication. And after complaining and just pound calling them, I finally got her to prescribe my medications, and at least she made up for it by giving me a 2 and 3 month supply of some of my medicines. So that's fine. But when you're on heavy doses of nerve medication to suppress the nerve pain, and then you cold turkey off of it for a day and a half, yeah, it's painful. I mean, if I miss one dose of my gabapentin, I can feel it. I get temperature changes drastically. The nerve pain just comes just surging in. And just imagine that without, for what, 1, 2, 3, 4. I had 5 different doses I missed. So almost 2 days worth. And I was crawling out of my skin on, I think, Thursday, and then Friday night when I finally got to take it, I was a little bit better, but not, well enough to want to do a damn thing. So for lay on my bed or try to occupy my mind by playing a video game or whatever. And Saturday rolled around and I was better-ish, but still I just needed to relax, let my nerves rest and recuperate, because it was gnarly. I was crawling out of my skin, the pain of it, everything. So, that's why I didn't record. I generally try not to record on Sundays. I don't like to. So I just like, what? Life happens, right? And so I'm just not going to record. It's not worth it. But here we are next Friday, and here's a recording for you. So I apologize for that. So that's one update. The other one is yesterday I had my urologist appointment to get my penis scoped, and obviously I've never had it done before, and I have no idea what to expect. And so when I get there and they finally set up the room and I'm all ready to go, which is it's just not a comfortable feeling. I mean, I definitely can say I have some sympathy for women when they have to get their private part checked, or if they're, OBGYN, because I literally had to have my feet up on those stirrup things with my crotch displayed to the world. And anyone who walked in the door it's just hanging out. And I'm like, sweet, I just love that. Yeah. But sadly, that was not the worst part. The worst part was the scoping. So the nurse came in and he says, so I'm going to squirt this numbing gel inside your penis where the scope's going to go. And it will numb the inside of the penis, but it can't get farther down to where the prostate is. So once the scope hits the prostate, you feel it 100%. And it is painful. And you're trying your best not to move because you don't want to cause more problems or more pain. And it is just literally like someone stabbing my penis and my bladder and everything in that area all at once. Not pleasant. And yes, it got better once he fully got all the way in, but I can still feel it. He made it sound like the pain would cease. It did not. It was constant. Now, it wasn't as bad as the initial, but it was still bad. And then on top of that, they squirt saline, a bag of saline into your bladder so they can look around at the walls and everything. And the whole time, you have to not let that come out. You have to hold it in while in pain, while being scoped. And it's not easy. Like the nurse told me beforehand, he says, so I'm going to tell you right now, you need to make sure you hold it in, because we don't want, a little baby situation where you pull down the baby's diaper and wee all over your face and stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, that's no problem. I hold in my pee all the time. Everyone has in their life. And it's actually difficult, not just when the scope is in there, but when they take it out. It's like all jumbled sensations and feelings, and it always feels like something was ready to just squirt out and you had no control. Like it literally felt like that. And I'm sitting there sucking everything in, and I'm like, don't pee, don't do it. It was really difficult, actually, and unpleasant in its own right. And they're like, so if you want to use the bathroom to get that stuff out before you leave, you're welcome to it. I'm like, nope. I just want to go home. I want to go home. I don't want to deal with that anymore. I will go home. I'll suffer the ride home and go in my own home. And the ride home, it wasn't easy. Like it literally the whole ride home, it constantly felt like it was just gonna just come out, and there's nothing I could do about it. And of course, when I got home and I relieved myself, wow, the burning sensation was really bad the first day, especially the first one. But the whole day, it was just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go. I held it in as long as I could. But it also, I can tell, I know he poked my bladder. He even said he did. Just to test the wall lining, I guess. I don't know. But I can feel, I guess it, I mean, I have a lot of sensitivities outside on top of my skin and stuff, so I guess it makes sense I would inside. But every time I walked, I can feel like a little bit of pain in my bladder. It was uncomfortable. So that was very unpleasant. And it still hurts a little bit today to urinate. It's not as bad as yesterday, but it's still not pleasant. So yeah, there's that. And so the good news through all that is there's no cancer or tumors in my bladder. Everything looked normal and fine. No scar tissue, blah, blah, blah. The bad news is he doesn't know why I'm still having the pain while on the medication. Now, also, in terms of the medication, I did stop it a few weeks back. And then when I talked to the guy finally, not the actual doctor, but I guess his assistant or something, he said that to just take that right when I went to bed so that the side effects wouldn't be as bad than taking it at dinner time, I guess. I don't really know. I haven't really done anything too physical straining or anything since I started back up over a week and a half ago. And maybe it's just something I have to take for a good month before it fully takes effect, and maybe then the pain will go away. But his only other thing to say is that, I mean, if you do have Crohn's, I don't know how it could be related, but maybe somehow it is, because otherwise he was at a loss. It made no sense to him. And I just honestly, I say this to every doctor that has ever said that to me, and pretty much most doctors say that to me, that they can't make sense of things, or it doesn't make sense. And I'm like, well, get used to it, because I'm used to things in my body not working like they're supposed to. It's called defective. I'm built different. So there's that, and he also prescribed this medication that you only can take for a few days, but it changes the color of your urine. He didn't really say why I'm taking it, but he said to just take it for a few days. I don't know what it was supposed to do. He didn't really say much more than just take it. So I'm like, okay. The other thing he is going to do is also order 2 separate special urine tests that I have to go to, like an actual place like Quest Labs, to get that done. I'll do it 2 separate times and see what the results are. And then I think he wants to see me in a couple of months just to check in, see how things are doing. So that's that. Hopefully it'll just start to stop. The pain will start being there once I'm on Flomax for a while. Right now it's actually hard to tell because it's painful just from the procedure. So yeah, there's that. So that's that update as well. The next update is my pain management. I finally got one. And I saw actually the pain specialist. I saw her Tuesday, and she was very nice. I mean, it was a very small place, kind of, old school looking building and stuff, but it definitely wasn't like 20 people in the waiting room and an hour wait time just to get into the other waiting room. So that part was nice, and it seems like I'll see the same lady each time, which I definitely am all for, even if it's a more rinky-dink operation, because with the other place, I hated that almost every time it was a different doctor or a different nurse practitioner, and so each have their own stance on things or their own give and take, and so it was just very irritating trying to reiterate what the last guy said to the new guy and then hope they are willing to So, anyways, she seemed nice. And the biggest thing that I appreciated about her is she looked at my chart and my scans, and she said, like, well, first, most doctors will say, you're too young to have this kind of back pain and this kind of back problems. Yeah, you should be over this such age before that happens. And that whole crap, which I know I've talked extensively on before because I hate it. It's stupid and it makes no sense. I mean, I get it if you want to say, well, typically people over 40 don't get arthritis in their back, but you do have it. It just isn't usual. Something of that nature. Whereas it's like, it can't be possible, even though there's evidence to suggest it. It's just stupid. So with her, she looked at my back in particular, and she goes, "Oh my, you have severe arthritis all up and down your back. Oh man, it really sucks to be that bad off and in that much pain at such a young age." See the difference there? She didn't say that I shouldn't be feeling that pain. She felt bad that I had to be dealing that pain at a younger age. Thank you. Seriously, that right there was the best thing I've heard in a while from a doctor. So definitely very thankful and appreciative. I don't think they do nerve burns from how she was talking. They do pinpoint injections. In fact, I had one done on my lower back as well on Wednesday. Essentially, there's this guy there that has been doing these, I forget how long, but he's been doing it for a few decades, I believe she said. And I met the guy when I went there, real nice fellow. He just laid on my back, and he did a couple of quick little numbing stuff. Used the x-ray machine to make sure where the nerve was. Went right in with the injection and right into the nerve, and that was it. And he said, give it a few days and you should start to feel better or notice a difference. And so it was quick. I was like in and out 10 minutes tops. It was amazing. And if it works, even to like a 50% degree, then that's awesome, because I was in and out. There's no restrictions afterwards, because with the nerve burn, I can't shower for a week. I can shower, but I can't soak the area for a week. So no like baths. And I can't do any bending or lifting or anything strenuous for 3 days. Whereas this, he's just like, okay, go about your day. Don't need any restrictions. So that's awesome. Also, it's not nearly as painful as the nerve burns. I'm sure they're way more effective, of course, but the pain scale was like a 2 at this place versus the nerve burns attack, especially when I couldn't get any sedation medication because I have to self-drive myself. So hopefully they work. I have 8 scheduled, 7 more now. So it's going to be in my back, my neck, and I think that's it. Just all up and down my back, and then in my neck, and then just see how it goes from there. She also kind of wants to try different medications with me as well and see if they help better. Like with the Flexeril, I guess there's another medication. I cannot recall it for the life of me. That's, not surprising, right? But she said it's supposed to be more effective and better for people with back pain. For some reason, for some reason that particular muscle relaxer helps better with people who deal with pain in the back. So she wants to switch me to that eventually. And then she wants to try another NSAID, which I know I've gone over this before, I believe. I was on Mobic. It is a prescription NSAID. I took it for like 2 months, and I constantly had the stabbing pain and constipation and all these issues in my intestinal tract. And so I ended up stopping it, but it had rewired my whole system, and now it's unpleasant, and especially if I have Crohn's, it's even more unpleasant, yada yada yada. So I'm like, well, I told her, what happened, and that I'm kind of leery of it, but I'm willing to try it, but I just let you know if I notice anything that doesn't feel good, stomach, intestinal, digestive, anything, I'm gonna stop it, because I can't mess more things up in my body just to hope that it outweighs it, which I doubt it would. But yeah, so I told her it's fine, we can try NSAID or two, see, because I have adverse effects, and I've always been very sensitive to medications, and that's why it's always been difficult to get ones that work and don't cause side effects that are detrimental to me. So I like that in general, that she's willing to try different things, and she knows there's different muscle relaxers and stuff that work better for certain pains, whereas the other places just like, everyone takes Flexeril, let's just give it to you, so I'm glad that she's willing to try new things and try to make my pain management that much better by adjusting my medication, instead of just saying, well, you're at a 5 on average, right? You can live with that. So, whatever. It's nice because it's a clean slate in a way. They don't have any of my records from Lags, because I didn't get referred from Lags because they're no longer there, which is fine. She can see for herself. She can try to tailor my medication more. Maybe she'll find something better for me, and I'm totally for that. And so, I hope these injections that I'm going to be getting over the next 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, will help. That's awesome. Happy about that. I still don't see the GI doctor till next month, I believe, which is fine. It is what it is. Hopefully they'll have some answers for me there. For any other updates, I don't think there's any others that I can think. Well, there is one. I did see my eye doctor on Monday as well. Very busy week, actually, if you couldn't tell. And like over a year ago, I want to at least say, I think I don't know. It's been at least a year, I believe, since I had that eye procedure done, where they, kind of cleaned my eyelids and eyeball and yada yada yada, to reset the little glands underneath your eyes right here on the inside. And before I had it done, she told me, usually it's something that has to be done every year. Because after a year, they tend to, start to go bad again, or however she put it. But when she did, so every 3 months I go in and they do their battery of tests to take a look at all that stuff and see how it's doing, and put in new plugs into my tear duct. And so with that, she looked at it and she's like, wow, I'm really, really in shock. Your eyes look normal. They still look really good. They don't look inflamed. Your little oil glands are nicely shaped, and they're all in perfect rows. Everything looks amazing. And the reason why she's really shocked is because, like I said, after a year, usually that's when they start to maybe kind of go back to the way they were. And she's like, well, that's awesome that it's still doing well, and just keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully it'll stay that way for a long time. So I hope so, because it's not a cheap procedure. I know she said it gets cheaper after the first time, but it's not something I can or want to afford. So it's one of the things I try to make sure I'm diligent enough to maintain it. Because yeah, I don't want problems, especially not in my eyes. So yeah, so that's it for my updates. I know it's a long one this time. It's 2 weeks worth, obviously, but I do plan to record tomorrow as well. My normal, spiel. So I thank you guys for sticking in there, and sorry again for missing last week. And yeah, feel free to like, share, comments, and love you guys, and I'll post tomorrow. See ya.